Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me? Yeah, good. Thank you, Dr. Mukhopadhyay, and thanks to ISTA and Dr. Chetty for bringing us here. As you know, I am a product of SV University. I wandered this sort of a campus 25 years ago. Thank you. And even though Dr. Mukhopadhyay said that I'm going to talk on something called Science is Cool, I thought I'm going to mix it by saying that science is cool when you network also. That's why I put the title networking, because the panel session says mentoring and networking, and my esteemed colleagues, they talked mostly about mentoring but never talked about networking. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say I and my advisor, Dr. Chetty, he's my PhD advisor, is a good example of mentor and a mentee relationship, which actually is going strong, I guess. There are occasional speed bumps. There are no stop signs in these relations, but this will go on forever. And this is a very good example of a mentor and a mentee relationship. So based on the context, when I started growing up here in this country, when I immigrated to US, I thought that I should start something that parallels this relation between a mentor and mentee. On that note, I started a program called Saras. It's very interesting. It's a short form of the term Saraswati, you know, the goddess of education. So somehow it became very famous as Saras. And this was initiated in the year 2004 with just 21 students. We'll be conducting our 14th annual event this summer. This is a summer program, and I never get paid to run this program. And it's a one-man show, which is, I'm very proud, I'm very possessive of it. But it became a national program. And we'll be conducting this 14th annual summer program in July 14 to 28. And I'm also happy to say that many students from India are now coming to this program. And we make sure they get their visas also, a 10-year multiple entry visa. Okay. So these are the program. I'm just going to give you a snapshot. We do basic science workshop where we teach the kids. Most of the kids are either undergrad or high school students. We teach them how to do microbiology studies. We actually have allied health people teaching them how to do respiratory therapy techniques, and we have lots of workshops on biostatistics and microscopy. All sorts of things are done within 3 weeks. And we have an interesting program called Geriatrics Workshop Program, where we take 125 kids to a veterans home, and they'll be interacting with these veterans for 3 hours. And these veterans are war veterans in US, and they are put in a nursing home where their relatives never come and see them. And within 3 hours, the bondages are formed between these kids and these war veterans. And I'm happy to say that my daughter and my niece, when they are in this program, one of the veteran, he stopped these 2 girls saying that they too should date his grandsons. And that's the best outcome. And they're still talking to each other after 4 years. And this is some of the workshops which we do, which not only mentors, but also improves the networking skills. And we have lots of experts. We have a cardiologist, we have an endocrinologist, we have a biologist, we have a biophysicist. They all come and not give lectures. They interact with the students. And that's how this program became very successful. And we do clinical science workshop. This is one of the most fascinating things for our students. We take them into a simulated operating rooms, and we'll have a simulated patient who will be bleeding, who will be moaning, and the job of these students is to save the patient's life. And we'll also teach them how to draw blood. We teach them how to intubate during anesthesia. We teach them how to do spinal taps. And within 3 weeks, they have a career path to choose from actually, because they're so excited learning about these skills and techniques in the hospital. And actually, this is another interesting thing which we do. We put the student in a simulating consultancy room, as if he is already a big physician. So we send in 2 adult subjects, and the student will be given a disease to handle, like diabetes, because the previous day they were shown and taught about diabetes. And we'll record their interaction with the patient, so-called patients, and we'll give the video to them so that they can take it home and show it to their parents, saying that we already are physicians. And that gives them lots of motivations, not only to the students, but also to the parents. So I just want to sum this program saying that Dr. Jagadishwan, just to let you know, we have now 1,240 students who graduated from the program. In the past 5 years, we have 58 Intel and Siemens Intel semi-finalists. And we have 8 finalists, Intel finalists, and 3 Siemens finalists. These are the best science research programs which were recognized in the United States. So all the alumni from our program, we are so happy to say that. Saying that I'm not the only one who does that. From these 120 kids who come into the program, we select some of these kids, 8 to 10 kids, and my job is to make sure that they are matched with the right mentors so that they can actually achieve their goal. So that's the goal of this program. So when we finish these 3 weeks, many of the kids come to us and say, oh, I want to be a neuroscientist as well as a biotechnologist as well as a professor. You cannot be all of them, I guess, but that's what we tell them. So choose your path. There will be many green lights in your career which will be glowing on and off. Choose the right path, and if you want to choose the right path, you need to do networking. So this is one module which I teach the kids. So I'm not going to give you a big speech about how to network, and I'll give myself as an example. Yesterday night I sat with my teachers and had fun because my advisor made me network with his friends. They're not my friends, but they are my teachers and his friends. But now I became their best friend. That's what we call networking. So here is, what is networking? Networking is something where you can sit with the same group which you are comfortable with. As simply as that. And if you cannot even do that, then you are an outcast. So the best thing to do is find the right people so that you can talk to them in a manner where you can actually relate with each other. That's the first step in networking. And there are many ways to network. You can go to a career fair, you can go to a conference. I mean, whenever we come to the conference, I make many new friends. And the best thing for us is we get invited more and more. They pay our TA and DA for some of us, but not for me, unfortunately. But we don't mind. But that's the fun of networking. You make good friends. You make collaborations, not only with your life, but with your science career too. And of course, many networking aspect starts with fights. I had many fights with my colleagues, which we don't see eye to eye. But that's the start of a good relation to become a good networking sort of concept to bring people together. So I'm going to just finish off with few slides, and on each slide there will be only one word, nothing more. But there is a lot of meaning behind that one word. Think about it, think deeply about it, and feel what it says. So why are you in this situation? You might ask yourself, why should I network? Because you are in a lower position, because you want to make friends, because you want to enjoy life. So it's your choice. You decide whether you want to go and network and have fun. So to do that, you have to start somewhere. Oh, I would say, oh, I'll meet my professor maybe next week. Or I got introduced to someone here, let's go to US and write an email. Why do it later? They're right in front of you. Just introduce yourself. Do it now. That's the first tip about networking. Now, here is the most important thing. What is your goal of networking? So that you can grab their money and run away sometimes. You go to a party and let them pick the bill, I guess, sometimes. But think about the realistic goal. What am I going to get out of this when I network with something? Will I get to become a minister or a director of an institute? That's a great goal. So this is how you start. Think strategically. And are you ready for it? To be ready, there are different things to do. To network, you have to get yourself ready. And if so, what are you going to do about it? Don't just blindly jump into this sort of aspect. Try to plan efficiently. So to do that networking, you need to know about the next person whom you are talking to. The first thing I did when Dr. Chetty sent me the panel members, I Googled everyone. I almost know many of your interests, what you do in your off time. And that's the best thing to do. Before you meet someone, you make sure you know a little bit about them so that you can relate to them. And reach the top. When you network, your main goal is to reaching the top by using this network. And I want to say to my fellow students, I'm a perpetual student, you are what you are. You cannot change yourself. But from this minute, you can change yourself because you have a plan. And that's what networking does. And be confident. You think, oh, nobody will talk to me. I'm a shy person. I should be in a corner. Yes, But if you look yourself in the mirror in the morning and growl a little bit and say, I'm a lion now, I can go and talk to anyone. And that's the aspect which makes you make friends. And be articulate. And one thing I have realized is we are so specialized in our aspects, we don't think about other stuff. Do you know that Dhoni doesn't want to be a captain for the next T20 and one-day internationals? How come a biomedical science guy knows about Dhoni, right? Do you know that Mahesh Babu is in Switzerland for a vacation? One of the movie stars here. How should I know that? Why should I know that? Because when you network with people, you need to know the current affairs. And the best tip I can give to the students is, every morning open up your Google. You Google everything, right? And there is an icon which says news. Press on that. It will give you 4 or 5 headline items in sports, in entertainment, in politics, in career, in science, everything. You just read them for 5 minutes. You are the best knowledgeable person anyone can come across. That's the best tip for another network. Thank you. And be flexible. If you want to network with your professor, and if your professor says you are the most dumbest person I ever came across, don't take it seriously. Be flexible and say, okay, you call me dumb, I know what you are, but I'll try to become wise. Then you know the relation, how it will develop. And be efficient. If your mentor, if your professor says, come at 10 o'clock to meet me in office, don't go there at 10:01. Be there at 9:55. But it's a different if this professor comes at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's a different issue. And it happens to many of the mentees, it happens. But be ready for that, okay? Be organized. When you're meeting someone, know their background, know what you're going to talk about, know what you want. And steer the conversation in the context so you can get the max out of it. And have ambition. Network always actually happens because you have lots of ambition. You want to grow up. That's the main reason for networking. And have realistic goal. Don't think that by talking to a mentor or talking to your boss, you can be the professor of your mentor. It will never happen. Unless you marry into a politician's family, it will never happen. Okay? So in this country, it can happen. So plan efficiently. Be that unique you. If you want to network, be that unique you. Be indispensable. Don't ever think that you are inferior to anyone. You are the best you can be when compared to others. You know your own skills. You know what your skills are. It's not the job of a mentor to tell you what you're good at. You have to go and tell your mentor that I am good at this. Help me develop this skill. And that's another form of networking to improve yourself. So be indispensable. So networking will make you many different things. Either you can be a good follower. Yes, we need lots of followers. In our sort of profession, we call them slaves, like undergrads and high school and technicians who does the job from 9 to 5. Or you can be a leader, you can be your own project director, you can be your own boss, or you can own your business, or you can be a trailblazer so that everyone can follow you. And that's the charm of being a good networker. Know everyone. When I ever come to India, my best friends are my car drivers. By talking to them, I know everything politically what happens in this region. So when I talk to the other people when I come here, I know what to talk to them and get the things done. So talk to anyone. Don't think that they are inferior to you. And that's where you leave a trail. So with that, I would say that if you are a good networker, you'll definitely change the world. And that's what happened when you become a leader. And with that, I tried to combine mentoring and networking. And with my experience of 25, I still have many more years. I'm still learning. But these are some of the things which I realized will maybe make you a little bit more successful. With that, I thank all of you for patiently listening to me. And I thank Dr. Chetty and Dr. Mukhopadhyay.